Hello everybody, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. It's been a while since I did a video, and I noticed today that Kelly Bear had done a VR to a prompt by Lucid Moon channel, and it was hashtag tarot through movie genres. So I thought I would tackle that. It is a little difficult because I don't think of my decks that way in terms of relating to genres or seasons or themes or whatever. So it was a little bit of a struggle, but I did manage to kind of work around it a little bit. And if you want to follow along, the first prompt genre is sci-fi films, and for that one I picked Siliconway's Intuitive Tarot because I found when I got this deck, I thought a lot of her images reminded me of sort of sci-fi fantasy type images that seem sort of futuristic or ancient civilization or otherworldly, very kind of alien atmospheres. So that's what I chose for sci-fi. The second genre is horror, and I don't really collect horror decks. I'm not that fond of horror movies other than the classic ones from the 40s or 50s. But I got to thinking about it, and there was something sort of horror about the backstory and the whole mystique, I guess, behind Patrick Valenza's Mildred Payne's Pocket Oracle. And the images seem very much like horror type imagery for an oracle. Sort of old-fashioned horror classics, if you will, focusing on darker elements of magic and witchery and zombie children and witches and creepy owls and voodoo dolls and things like that. The third prompt is romance films. That's another thing. I don't generally do romance or love readings, that kind of thing. But there was something I think very romantic about the pre-Raphaelite or Art Nouveau era of art. So I picked the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. The images are very, they're glitzy, and they're sort of, they're kind of romantic, I think, in a way. In terms of an old kind of medieval romance with princesses and knights and warriors and battles and that kind of thing. Secret rendezvous and gardens, etc., etc. and the poses of the Art Nouveau and Pre-Raphaelite tend to be sort of melodramatic, the way a lot of romantic movies are. Actually, melodrama would be a great genre for this challenge, which is not one of them, but I guess it sort of crosses over into other types of films. Next, number 4 is thriller. Now, when I thought thriller and horror are sometimes mixed. I chose the White Witch Tarot, and I'm thinking more of like a psychological thriller, suspense, sort of nightmare psychology type images. Sorry for the reflection. How can I? There. These are very shiny cards. And they are nightmarish in the way that some thrillers are filled with dark, nightmarish imageries and psychological thrills and twisted tales of the mind. The next one, number 5, is mystery. Now mystery's a little bit... Mystery's kind of more up my alley, though many of you might not view this as a mystery deck, but this has currently been my favorite for a number of months now. It's the Manuscript of Initiations, and it's very much, I think, in keeping of mystery movies like The Name of the Rose, which was sort of in a medieval setting. And this deck is very much sort of mysterious medieval artwork that isn't readily available to interpretation, like something that would be a mystery buried on the pages of a medieval manuscript. Much in the way that the secrets in the movie, the name of did I say The Name of the Rose? Name of the Echo? It's by Umberto Eco. I think it's called The Name of the Rose. And there's a lot of sort of dark mystery and taboo material in the pages of those manuscripts, like it feels like there is in this mysterious deck. Number 6 is action films. This was tricky too because I had a hard time thinking of a deck that had a lot of action going on in it in my collection, but I ended up picking the Tarot for All Ages, and that one does have a lot of action in the cards, even though one might not think of it as an action deck. There's a lot of movement, a lot of things happening, a lot of running and jumping and climbing and dancing and leaping. Prompt number 7 is fantasy. And I couldn't think of a more fantasy-like deck, very much sort of Alice down the rabbit hole, than the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. Let's see, after fantasy we had number 8, comedy. For comedy I chose the Il Tarocco Bizzarro. I believe this is I don't know if it's an Italian deck or a Spanish deck, but the characters in this are quite comical. Prompt number 9 is drama, and for drama I chose another one of my favorites, which I don't really think of this as a drama deck, but it is a very somber, serious, sobering sort of deck, very thoughtful deck, so I guess that could go for drama. I chose the Mara Loon. You look at the images in the cards, they all seem very thoughtfully in the moment, contemplating something serious or dramatic. Category number 10 is documentary films. My mind jumped right away to the carte postale tarot because it's comprised or collaged from actual vintage photographs. So it sort of made me think of one of those documentaries using vintage footage. The next category, number 11, is animated films. And for this one, I thought of the Rainbow Tarot because I love the color and the animated quality of the illustration. It does remind me of a cartoon following the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Bright pop colors. Oh, this next one, this is the trickiest one. Number 12 is Westerns. Now, I've got nothing with Western motif in my collection. But if I think about sort of the colors and hues and climates of Westerns that are sort of oranges and browns and deserts, then it made me think of the Dante Tarot, maybe an Italian spaghetti Western. There are a lot of oranges and browns in this deck, and hot suns and, deserts. Lots of reds and oranges and yellows. Hot or warmer colors. The next category, or actually the last category, is number 13, black and white films, sort of classic old films. Now, I wish I could show you something more intriguing than this one, but I just went with classic. This is the Glow-in-the-Dark Tarot, which is simply a black and white Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, and it's black and white. It does glow in the dark if you charge it up, and you're familiar with all these images already, so they are kind of classic, like a classic old black and white film. This one's kind of more set in the dark than the daytime. It's a little bit of a challenging deck because the cards are stiff and have an embossed feel to it. The glow-in-the-dark ink is sort of raised. So it's not glossy, it's kind of matte, but it's also almost like a Braille deck. And not the most easy to shuffle. Now, Kelly Bear added 2 additional genres to the list. So even though it ends at 13, we have 14 and 15. 14, she chose disaster films. Who has a disaster deck in the collection? Not me. But anyway, I chose the Tarot des Ozarks because the colors are vivid and violent in a way. And, you know, this is a great tower card for a disaster film choice. So it's so vibrant that the colors kind of tend to clash. And even in the pips, they sort of battle one another or challenge each other. It's got a lot of nice variety in the color palette. And I don't think of it as a disaster deck, but it might be the closest I've got in terms of violent hues or palettes working with one another or against one another. And the last prompt chosen, number 15, to close it off, is musicals. And I am not a Broadway musical fan, a movie musical fan. I have one favorite in my top 10 list of musicals, which is The Young Girls of Rochefort. If you've never seen it, it's quite wonderful. It's Jacques Demy, and the music is by Michel Legrand. And the whole thing is a wonderful kind of 2-hour double mint gum commercial in pastels from the 60s. It stars Catherine Deneuve and her actual real-life sister, whose name I can't think of at the moment, but it's very amusing. It's about carnies that come into a French town and set up their stalls in the town square, and there's a little cafe there, and a lot of the activity centers around the cafe and missed opportunities and romance, and it's just a great film. And because it's Michel Legrand music, I love it. Anyway, I picked the Green Menagerie Tarot, and the reason I picked this is because musicals always feel to me like they're filled with a lot of variety in terms of colors, costume design, different kinds of music, special effects. And so, some scenes can be dark or serious, overly romantic. Some can be lighthearted and jolly. You never know. And this deck is filled with, lots of variety of styles. And I can almost see these in various musicals. This is more like a variety show in a way than a musical deck, but I think it might work for this category. So there you have it. This is my attempt at responding with a video to Tarot Through Movie Genres. Again, it's a VR to Lucid Moon and Kelly Bear, who added to it. I haven't seen Lucid Moon's original one yet, but I'm about to watch it. I just watched Kelly Bear's maybe an hour or two ago and responded quickly. So I hope you enjoyed all this. If you do, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you all again soon. I've got my 5th channelversary coming up in a week or so. And I'm looking for guests to come and appear with me. If any of you want to volunteer, please do. I'll take everybody into consideration. I usually have 2 guests for each channelversary. And usually I pick somebody that hasn't appeared on a previous year. But keep that in mind, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.